The idea for the first Summerfest '85 Dancin in the Streets came about during discussions between Jeff Swindler, Tom Phillips, Buck Ryder, and David Bickoff. In 1985, Phillips and Ryder suggested that Swindler host a backyard luau to raise money for several friends who had AIDS. After Swindler rejected this idea, the group moved forward with Bickoff's suggestion that some kind of street fair be held near a local LGBT+ business. The group selected East 9th Street between St. Clair and Lakeside Avenues because that area had historically been familiar to the gay community as the former site of Tracks, the Vaults, and Water Street Dance. The first Summerfest event was organized as an independent benefit for the Health Issues Task Force, later renamed the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland. The event featured dancing and other entertainment, which included informational booths, a raffle, and a commemoration ceremony with an evening candlelight vigil in remembrance of LGBT+ friends, family, loved ones, and community members lost to HIV/AIDS. Though Summerfest's primary purpose was to raise money for HIV/AIDS awareness and education, its secondary purpose was a chance for the community to come together to affirm themselves, and was equally as important to the festival's organizers. The first Summerfest was attended by approximately 2,400 people and netted $9,000 for local HIV/AIDS causes, as well as assistance for those in need for their services. In 1986, Summerfest's organizers decided to keep the street fair going as an annual summer community event and formed an official partnership with the Health Issues Task Force. From 1986 on, the event's name, Summerfest, Dancin in the Streets, functioned as a primary annual fundraiser for the Health Issues Task Force, which later became the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland. In 1987, Summerfest was dropped from the event's title, which later became known simply as Dancin in the Streets. The annual festival remained at its original West 9th Street location between 1985 and 1990. Dancin was relocated to Huron and Prospect Road in 1991 before moving back to West 9th Street between 1992 and 1993. In 1994, Dancin was again relocated to a new location at Erieside Avenue, where it remained through 1996. Between 1997 and 2000, Dancin moved to Mall B. Mall B in Cleveland is a public, elevated grassy park located in the heart of downtown, between St. Clair Avenue and Lakeside Avenue. In 2001, Dancin in the Streets moved indoors to the Tower City Amphitheater and expanded into a full weekend of events with the addition of the AIDS Task Force-sponsored Erie Party and pre/post-event parties hosted by local LGBT+ venues. Dancin remained at the Tower Theater Amphitheater from 2001 to 2003. Having functioned as Dancin's primary organizer since 1986, the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland decided that 2004's event, aptly titled The Last Dance, would be the event's final year, following several years of declining attendance. The name Dancin in the Streets was no longer a protected name placed with the state of Ohio. Failure to properly register the name can result in being unable to enforce contracts, losing the business name to a competitor, or having the entity canceled and no longer protected. Following year, however, John Katsaros, David Pfeiffer, and Greg Whitbeck united to save Dancin in the Streets with the blessing of the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland. Katsaros, Pfeiffer, and Whitbeck formed a nonprofit corporation to reorganize 2005's annual Dancin in the Streets while returning the festival to its former block party roots. Between 2005 and 2010, Dance in the Streets moved to Clifton Boulevard between West 116th Street and West 117th Street, facing John Casares' solely owned Twist Social Club, which is a bar that sold and served the alcohol, as well as coordinated food trucks for the event. It was in 2009 when the nonprofit corporation that formed the event Dancin' in the Streets was dissolved, and the event name became unprotected once again. In 2010, Dancin' in the Streets came under the organizational control of Vision Video Productions in order to protect the name and legacy of the event. The festival was temporarily moved to Gordon Square in 2011 to help promote Gay Games 9. Vision Video lent the name Dancin' in the Streets to both the Synergy Group and the AIDS Task Force of Greater Cleveland so they could run and operate the event together. In 2012, the AIDS Task Force returned to an active role in organizing the Dancin' event, and it was moved back to Clifton Boulevard. Dancin' in the Streets was marred by what might be the starkest tragedy to hit the city's LGBTQ and allied community, when a drunk driver ran the barricades on July 29th, injuring 4 people, 2 of whom later died. Vigil was held on July 31st at Clifton Boulevard and West 117th Street, where Spock's car crashed through the barricades. State Representative Nikki Antonio, Cleveland City Councilman Jay Westbrook, Reverend Donald King, and Todd Saporito of Cleveland Pride all spoke to the assembled crowd that gathered for the vigil. In 2014, Dancin' in the Streets was held at Mall C as part of the 2014 Gay Games 9, and it was a huge hit. That would be the last time Dancin' in the Streets was held as a public event. Vision Video Productions, a gay-owned company, remains the legal guardian of the name Dancin' in the Streets to this day.
Oh, I'm making history.